Welcome to a Starter and a Chaser podcast with your hosts, Joe Clarke and Jon Passow.
Are you having fun, or is fun having you?
I don't know. It depends if you're in Soviet Russia.
Hey guys.
Welcome to another episode of a Starter and a Chaser podcast. We have something very special today. Joe, what do we have?
We're doing a whiskey and whiskey episode today. So we have a Woodford Reserve Double Oaked and a Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. But one of them is a single barrel pick done in cooperation with the Beach Club Bistro and the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op. All right, it'll be interesting to see the differences between the two. And this is your, regular offering of Woodford Double Oak, which we've had before, and it's a tasty drink, and we're going to see how it stacks up against a pick of it.
Yeah, single barrel. So usually when they do these blends, they take multiple barrels and put it together to form a homogeneous product. But with the single barrel selects, you get to try an individual barrel, and those things can vary from absolutely amazing or just really terrible. So we're going to see. It's
a wide variety of flavors when you do these picks. I've been involved in a pick, and they literally bring samples from each single barrel, and you just kind of, as a conglomerate, decide which one you like best.
Well, we're going to decide which one we like best here on the show. But tell us about the history of
So Woodford Reserve Double Oaked is from Woodford Reserve Distillery. It's formerly known as the Old Oscar Pepper Distillery. Then it was called the LeBreau and Graham Distillery, if I pronounce that correct. And it was started in 1812 by Elijah Pepper in Versailles, Kentucky. Sold to Brown-Forman in 1941. We like Brown-Forman. Woodford brand was introduced in 1996. So I think relatively, it's kind of a newer brand, being from 1996. We got a neat little display here from Woodford Reserve, and it is 72% corn, 18% rye, and 10% malted barley. And you can see all the different grains in here. It's kind of cool how that's all.
That's the breakdown of what they use. That's awesome.
Yeah,
and they distill it on a copper still, just like this one. This is a replica of what they distill it on, so that's pretty cool.
And the oak is toasted and with indirect heat.
So that's why they do call it double barrel. First they put it into the regular charred oak barrels, and then after that's done aging, they put it in the toasted barrel. And the indirect heat gives it a toast, but doesn't give it really a distinct char note on there, and you get a lot of different nuanced flavors from the toasting on there versus just the heavy char. So it's going to be cool doing these side by side to get that experience of the double oak, see what it does.
Right, and it's interesting, different drinks that you've had. You've seen other, not double barreled ones, but a toasted version of whiskey versus a charred one, and they have such a wildly different flavor profile between the two barrels. So it's interesting to mash those together. Beach Club Bistro is in Euclid. They have great pizza, a lot of whiskey selection there. Check them out. That's their name on the label there.
In conjunction with for the release.
Yeah, great place, guys. So if you're in town, Cleveland, Ohio, go check it out in Euclid.
Now we've got them pre-poured here, and they're actually just slightly different color here. I don't know if you can tell on the camera.
Co-op pick, and this is the regular here in my hands.
Regular, co-op, regular, co-op, co-op, regular.
They're pretty similar in color. They're not too far off.
The co-op is just, I would say, slightly darker. It's probably about 5, maybe 10% darker.
Sure.
What do you think?
It's pretty minimal to me, yeah.
And both are the same proof. So they should, in theory, have the same legs. So I'm going to give this a swirl.
Legs start to form pretty quick.
Interesting. I think the legs form quicker on the co-op one.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Already the difference.
Already. Yeah.
So what are you going to get on the nose here? Let's do the regular and
first.
Then co-op next.
I always love nosing this. This is one of those, whiskeys you can just kind of sit back and just keep nosing it. It's so good. There's a ton of butterscotch on this.
Okay.
Lots of really charred, dark caramel notes to it. You get a lot of barrel on this, so it's not overpowering. Quite a bit of heat on the nose, being at 90.4 proof, which is okay. You know, that's fine. It's just different whiskeys. You know,
here nor there.
Sure.
All right.
A little bit of dark fruit and stuff. It's really heavy on the nose as far as the butterscotch and the heavy caramel and some vanilla notes. I know those are common and generic terms for bourbon, but this really just powers through with that. The butterscotch especially. Okay, yeah.
All right, let's nose the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op and Beach Club Bistro Single Barrel Select.
Ooh. So this is my first time actually trying this. I haven't tried this before.
Oh.
I haven't nosed it either. The co-op pick, I've had double oaked, the regular, but I have not had this.
As you can tell.
It is very buttery.
I've had some of it.
Yeah, right. It is very buttery. The butterscotch is there, but it's kind of in the background. This tastes more like, it smells more like a cooked butter, really.
Oh, okay.
Like a cooked
a brown butter?
Yeah, like a brown butter. That's very, very good explanation of that,
Interesting.
Very caramely.
Okay.
Pulling a little more, I'm getting a dark fruit note on the background of this one. Like your stone fruits. Kind of a cherry, almost. Cherry or plummy.
Already some pretty big differences.
Yeah, it's quite a bit different on the nose. Yeah, it's very different on the nose.
Well, I think we should just dive right into the regular.
Let's start with the regular.
All right.
All right, cheers.
Prost. Molasses up front for me. I'm going to go back for my second one here. Get my palate acclimated. Molasses combining with brown sugar.
Yeah.
Oak.
A lot of brown sugar.
Lots of oak.
Yeah.
Really comes out nice. Right now it's not quite splintery, but it's on that edge of being splintery.
Yeah, you get a lot of barrel on this. I'm pulling the butterscotch notes out of this.
I get a little spice from that rye.
A little bit of spice from it. Yeah.
Clove almost, I get.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It's got some kick to it, a little heat. I feel it going down right now. Kind of stays mid-palate in the mouth as far as the heat goes.
100% agree.
Yeah. Not overpowering, not overbearing. This is very rich in the flavors. They're very,
Absolutely.
they're there. I mean, it's not hard to pull it out. Not like overly complex. I'm gonna go for another one, guys.
I wouldn't call it overly complex, but what it does have there is rich. It's distinct. It is very enjoyable, I would say. It's got a little bit of a rough edge, but it also has some smoothness to it too.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's creamy. Yeah.
That spice is really starting to hit me on the sides.
Yeah, it's amazing because it's not like it's 18% rye, so it's not super heavy on rye, but I mean, that's a good amount for a bourbon. But it's there. It's actually more present than you would expect it to be.
Yeah, for that low of a percentage. I'm getting a little bit of the toasted barrel now. We've done some toasted barrel products before on the podcast, and you can check out the link to that up here. And toasted barrels really have a distinct kind of, I would almost say like a biscuity, toasty, something about the mouthfeel and the chewy tannins that I get from the toasted, I'm picking up in this.
They seem to be a little sweeter too, a lot of the toasted barrel products.
They can be, but that real chewy barrel note I'm getting in this as it builds for me. So shall we jump into the co-op? All right. Let's see what they did here. I'm curious.
Me too. Because
I guess that's why we're doing the show.
Cheers.
Prost. Wow. Whoa. Huge flavor right up front. I mean, like, this is almost light compared to this.
Yeah. But also, I got a really good kick of heat on that one too. I don't know if it's alcohol heat. I need to go back in. I think it's just an overload of spice that came through.
Let's do a second one, because I'm not getting heat, but I'm getting something here. There is a kick of heat, but it dies down fast. I mean, for me,
it's like this one has the regular offering has more of trying to give you a Kentucky hug. Doesn't quite fully make it, but this one is almost, you think it's going to be there because it's like, oh, I got you, and then it's gone.
Yeah,
it just dissipates, and the finish is really creamy, smooth. The mouthfeel is totally different. This is a lot. That's thicker. Weird.
This is a lot thicker for me.
It seemed thinner in the glass. It feels heavier in the mouth.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
As far as the legs
go, the legs, it seemed lighter, but in the mouthfeel, it's a lot heavier. I mean, right up front is massive amounts of molasses for me. I mean, there are some similar flavors going on here, but the co-op for me is just like, it's the regular on steroids, and I'm getting a lot more chewy barrel tannins on the finish than I did with the first one.
There's a lot more barrel on this one. This doesn't have really the butterscotch effect to it too much.
Agreed.
It's kind of there, but it's more of that cooked butter that I'm getting, the browned butter kind of thing going on versus butterscotch. This is more like the candy side of it on that, and this is more of like your cooked butter side of it.
Well, the barrel is really building now for me. It's still not to a splintery level, but those chewy tannins are just like building and building.
It's a heavy bourbon, man. It's not an overly complex drink, but like I've said before, and I've said this a lot lately because some of the stuff we've been reviewing doesn't have 30 different things you're going to apply, but some people like that. I like that too, because sometimes you just get they really focus and hone on certain things that they want you to really have a concentrated punch on, and I feel that's what they did with this.
Absolutely.
And it's very interesting of the toasted versus your charred oak kind of bouncing back and forth in your palate. Both of these drinks are beautifully married together. It's almost hard for me, John, to pick is one better than the other, because I find they both have really good qualities to them.
I agree. Those are your final thoughts?
I think so.
All right. Yeah. So my final thoughts here is the regular. Actually, let's hold up the bottle. So
we can't. Regular
Woodford Double Oak. For a product that you can find fairly regularly in a lot of places, it is an absolutely fantastic whiskey. It does what it does well, like Joe was saying. It's got these very specific flavors, and it doesn't have a super massive amount of subtle complexity, but what it does in those flavors, it does really well. And then the co-op one, with the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op in conjunction with the Beach Club Bistro.
I'm getting more rye out of this, John. Sorry to cut you off.
It's all right. Not cut me off. I do get a lot more rye.
Yeah.
And this is like the regular on steroids.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely a monster of a whiskey, but at the same point, you can sit down and sip this and just enjoy the flavors that are coming out and just sit there and relish in it, because it's got a very long finish too. So
and I believe this is like the #1 selling whiskey in the $50 range.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. If you know the answer to that, be sure to leave a comment down below on our YouTube podcast and hit subscribe and the thumbs up while you
worth every penny.
Yeah, worth every penny for sure. We're also, by the way, on Instagram and all the podcast networks. Be sure to check us out, a Starter and a Chaser podcast. We have a Patreon account.
All the links are right down there.
You know, I'm with you. I can't choose. It's what's better, what's not as good, because they're both good and they're both delicious in their own unique ways. So
yeah, it's almost two different products sitting in front of us.
Almost. Yeah, I get those similar themes and threads that run between the two, but man, they are.
If you're a big rye guy, I would think a lot of rye guys would pick this one.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I think it would depend on my mood. This is a really hard one, guys. So
yeah. Well, I mean, hats off.
Why don't you guys try it out? Some of you guys in the co-op that have this bottle, try this versus this, and leave some comments down below and tell us what you think.
Yeah, definitely. And that is our special episode of Side by Side Woodford. This is a fun experiment to do whenever you find single barrel selects of other whiskeys. Yeah. So be sure to check us out next week, and the week after that, and the week after that.
And the week after that.
Enjoy, folks.
Are you having fun, or is fun having you, John?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Right,
it's not parasitic.